The Celestial Archive, the true origins of astrology. In the beginning, there was not belief, there was observation. 4,000 years ago, on the alluvial plains of Mesopotamia, scribes looked up and began to write the sky down. What they produced was not superstition in the modern sense. It was the first sustained attempt by any civilization to treat the heavens as a readable archive of terrestrial consequence. The foundational document is Enuma Anu Enlil, when Anu and Enlil, 70 tablets compiled across centuries containing roughly 7,000 omens. An eclipse at a particular hour means the king of Akakopra will die. Venus vanishes behind the sun and reappears as the evening star. The land will know abundance. These are not vague prophecies. They are conditional statements, carefully recorded, cross-checked against earlier tablets, and delivered as reports to the Neo-Assyrian court. This was state science. The king maintained a corps of scholars whose job was to watch, to compute, and to interpret. Their mathematics grew sophisticated enough to predict planetary periods. By the 5th century before the Common Era, the same observational machinery that served the throne began to be applied to individuals. The earliest surviving Babylonian birth charts date to 410 BCE. The sky had become personal. What the Babylonians lacked and what the Hellenistic world supplied was a complete geometric model of the sphere and a philosophical justification for individual destiny. After Alexander's conquests, Babylonian planetary theory, Egyptian decanal astrology, and Greek geometry met in Alexandria. The result, crystallizing in the late 2nd and 1st centuries BCE, is what we now call Hellenistic astrology, the direct ancestor of every Western horoscope still cast today. The decisive intellectual act was the invention of the natal chart as a total cosmic snapshot at the moment of birth, with the ascendant, the rising degree of the ecliptic, as its structural key. Houses, aspects, exaltations, triplicities. These were not mystical inventions. They were technical solutions to the problem of mapping a moving sky onto a fixed human life. Claudius Ptolemy, working in the 2nd century CE, performed the final classical synthesis. The same mind that produced the Almagest, the most advanced mathematical astronomy of antiquity, also produced the Tetrabiblos. Ptolemy did not regard the two works as belonging to different categories of knowledge. One described the motions, the other described the qualitative effects of those motions upon the sublunary world. The distinction between astronomy and astrology that seems so obvious to us was, for him, a division of labor within a single science of the heavens. Meanwhile, the same Greek technical package traveled east. In India, it encountered an already ancient tradition of lunar mansions and planetary omens. The result was not passive reception. Indian mathematicians subjected the Hellenistic system to their own rigorous computational culture and produced Jyotisha, a living tradition of extraordinary technical density that has never broken continuity. The parallel Chinese systems of celestial interpretation appear to have developed largely independently, though the question of early contact remains contested among specialists. At the philosophical core of all these traditions lies a single radical premise: the cosmos is a unified field of influence. The same principles that govern the great cycles of the planets also govern the small cycles of human character and fortune. This is the doctrine of correspondence, as above, so below, later crystallized in the Hermetic literature. It is not, strictly speaking, causal in the modern mechanical sense. It is analogical and participatory. The sky does not push the soul. The sky and the soul are written in the same language. Modern skepticism is correct on one decisive point. No mechanism has ever been demonstrated that would allow the positions of distant planets to determine personality or events with the specificity claimed by traditional astrology. The empirical record, when subjected to controlled statistical test, has repeatedly failed to support the stronger claims. That is not in dispute. Yet to dismiss the entire enterprise as mere delusion is to miss its historical and intellectual significance. Astrology was humanity's first large-scale attempt at systematic data correlation across cosmic and terrestrial domains. It trained generations of observers in precise measurement, mathematical modeling, and the construction of predictive systems. It kept alive across millennia and empires the conviction that the universe is intelligible, that pattern exists, and that pattern can be read. The clay tablets of Enuma Anu Enlil and the geometric constructions of Ptolemy belong to the same long arc of human reason that eventually produced Kepler's laws and the modern ephemeris. The divergence came later, when mechanism replaced correspondence as the preferred language of explanation. But the original question remains: is the cosmos silent about the particular, or does it speak? That is the true origin of astrology, not a failure of science, but one of its earliest and most ambitious expressions.